Welcome to Trading Lounge and the European Indices. And just to apologise, there's noise in the background. There's building going on next door, but it's better to do the video than not to do the video. So apologies about that, but let's get cracking. As we've been talking about, we're looking at the DAX here on the daily chart, and we're looking at the possibility of wave 1 and 2 and wave 3 up here, and then wave 4 to the 38.2% retracement level down at 11.5. I think what we can assume though, there's another possibility for this too, where we have this wave 3 up here and this wave 4 here that comes down to the 12,000. So I just want to be aware of both of them. So we've got our targets at 12,000 and then 11,500. We will look at the pattern once it arrives at the 12,000 at this particular point. So let's just dive in with that sort of understanding, and also that little gap there that's been here as well, so as a target point. So we can pretty much move in on this step by step here. So it's possible, as I mentioned before, I just like to be open, that's all, and put things in the right place until we got the evidence there. So in this case here, we're looking at this pattern moving to the downside. Last time we spoke, we were looking at this as an A wave, a B wave, and then a C wave down to here. And a C wave has 5 waves in it, so we're looking for wave 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and then we're looking for wave 5 down into 12.3, 12.2 here. Expect a bounce off the 12.3 here, okay? So be mindful of that, and then sort of a dribble down into 12.2 area through here. So I've got this as an A and a B and a C wave here for wave 4, but as you know now, we can also be looking at 11,500. If we're looking at 11,500, then we would need to look at this here as wave 3 coming down into this space here, and then wave 4 and then wave 5, and then we would also have to look at this here, if I can just copy that here, those 5 waves down being wave A coming down to this point here. But all we need to know for the time being here is we need a trigger to get from basically 5 to 3. That would be the job, wouldn't it? The rest we can sort of get some understanding of as things move along a little bit. Also to here, I always like to look at where I would be wrong. So if this case here, if we were looking at it in terms of positive structure to the upside, I don't see why that should be the case. But wave 3, all of this that's happening in here is wave 4 here, and then wave 5 up here. Now, even if we got wave 5 up here, then we would still, first high above the level, we would still get a corrective pattern here, and then the signal would come in at this point up here to be long, or we may be able to get one a little bit lower here. So, you know, this is the setup if we were going to go that direction, but otherwise this will just continue to work lower through here. So that's the way that we would handle the situation if we were wrong. Okay, so it's just good to know that. And also to this wave 4 here, with the DAX being closed and so on and so on, it's possible that we can get another little move up. The DAX is not closed, the US market's being closed, sorry, and the DAX has been going sideways here, so it may be corrective, and we may get one more little push up here anyway, and then move down through here. So then we would still put the wave 4 sitting on here as well here. Let's just drill in. I'll just save that there. I'll clean that up later. Let's just go in here and talk about the setup in here. So last time we spoke, we were looking at this chart here in the 15-minute chart, but in a nutshell, we're looking at wave 3 coming down, and then a move back up to the 38.2% retracement level at 12,472 area here. But obviously, you know, I'd always gravitate to the closest, largest number, and then moving down from that point there. So the wave 4 looks quite mature. It's done everything that it needs to do, so it can drop from here, and we need to kind of work out what we can do in this instance. And also to, you know, this is what obviously the other European markets are doing as well. So And as you can see, that the sideways movement across here is quite it's just drifting sideways, isn't it? I mean, that's it. So, but I was thinking that from this low here, we can look at this as wave 1 and 2 here and 3 here. And then you see how this is in 3 waves here. I'm just going to check on the cash market too to make sure that I'm barking up the right tree here. So just try and find, bear with me a second. Okay, much the same thing. I mean, with the DAX, we can, on the physical market, we can put that here as an ABC there. I can see that that works there. And possibly, yeah, I'm not, this is our target area and we've hit that. So, and we're going to go short here, if that's the case. Now, we can bring this to go short up here. So I think that, just move that there a little bit. We don't need that. So we can have a top in. This top can be here, but I don't like all of this here because this is in 3 waves here. So I see this as an A wave, an A and a B and a C wave up here for the B wave, then down for the C wave here. So really we would want, if I could just borrow that there, we could say, to be safe while the US markets are closed, we could say that if this becomes the retested resistance here, then we can short at this point here. I mean, this is just going to drift here for the time being. So let's just say that there is space for this market to go up based on this sort of overlapping wave structure here being corrective. There is a point that I know that that we can have the downtrend in play. If I go to the tick chart here and just look at these tops in here a little bit, so 100 ticks here. But it's all sort of shooting the breeze a little bit in here. So I could see it that we've actually got, I don't think it's the case because we can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 down here for wave 1, right? Then I can put that here as, I don't think this is the case. I'm just shooting the breeze here as such. Copy that here. Put wave 2 there. And this down here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, no, it doesn't cut it. I thought we may be able to have this as wave 1 and then an A and a B and a C for wave 2 here. So basically down for 1, well, that would be the B wave, but we still don't get 5 waves out of this one here either. It just doesn't figure, and I can't have it as a triangle pattern because that's not going to work. So yeah, it's quite possible. I just can't see it coming down from here. So, but I don't want to cut myself off short either here. So, I mean, I'm thinking down for 1, back for 2, down for 1, back for 2, down for 1, back for 2 here. So, from that high to this low here, this is the 61.8% mark here. So what we could say here is that you could go long if the 12640 became the support here, okay? You could probably even do it based on the 50 here as well, but be very careful about that because we can have this as an A and a B and a C wave up to here, then fail and then move down again. So one of the other things that I always find quite helpful is, even though we've talked about 12.4 here being the resistance for the short trade, we've also got group 1 here, which is 10, 20 and 30. And we can see that the market is on 30 at the moment as a nice support. But if the 20 here became the retested resistance here, I can't pull that across here, if that became the retested resistance, it's basically the number 2, it's the pivot within group 1 here. Normally if that becomes the retested resistance, then it will be pulled down to the closest largest number, and if it's pulled down to this number here, well then it becomes more bearish at that point and we'll be on our way from that point. So I'm just going to clean these up here because I don't think that that's the case here. I think this is a corrective pattern with more to the upside, but I can't prove it, and I don't have any evidence of that. It has hit our target, but I was just hoping that we would get 5 waves down with an ABC correction, then 5 waves down, and then ABC, then 5 waves. And we've got that, but we don't have 5 waves in here. We've only got 3 waves in here. So basically, this would work out as an A wave here, a B wave up here, and then a C wave down here, with an A and a B and a C wave in here. But that doesn't sort of fit either. So something's not quite right here. I can't get my head around it. So I don't know. So the first weakness that we'd see would be this low here being taken out. And then if this 1242 becomes the resistance, we can move from that point. So I'll just save that. And let's look at... I'm going to go to the UK, actually, because that's in the same boat here as well. What we were looking for once we had this bounce off the 7.3 here was a move back up to the wave 4 of 1 lesser degree here. And we've got that. And in this case here, I can see we've got an A and a B and a C in here. This move up here doesn't take the top out here. So it's a concern. It doesn't have to, but the move down here. So really we've got the same thing here again here as well. So this has got to be taken out here, you know. Yeah, but even so here, I think, you know, if it was me here, then any move that's going to be coming back down here is going to hit the 3 here again and then bounce back here, you know, to some point. So it would be this area here I'd be looking for. So you can short it here if you want to. If the 7350, which is the 50, is the midpoint here, then you can work that lower from there. So if that becomes a retested resistance, you can work that lower from there. So I will just bring that up into there, but there's a bit of risk on that there, but that's okay. And the other markets are just the same as well. So when I look at the Netherlands here, we're also looking at a wave 4 here as well. But we've got the same, basically the same problem here as well, in that, just sort of look at that a little bit. It's just a bit hard to see. I'm just going to go and have a look on the cash market here for this. See if I can see a little inkling anywhere. No, it's just not helpful. I was just too messy, so I don't know. But the short here obviously would be any move down to here is going to bounce off here. If there's going to be a bounce off here, it will be in 3 waves, and then eventually move down and lock under here. So that would be a setup at that point. You could also do this one across here, because another move down here would pretty much seal its deal here. But then you'd wait for the bounce and work the bounce on a 3-wave thing there. So same thing there as well. And this would also go through to France as well here, doing the same thing as well here. So yeah, you know, I would imagine a nice clean break and gravitate over to the closest largest number here, but a nice clean break here would do the trick as well. Yeah, I mean, wave 4s can get messy, that's the only thing. So let's see, but it's done everything. They've all retraced to the points where they're supposed to, you know. And if they're going to move to the upside, let's just say that they break to the upside, I would still call them wave 4 up here. The only way that they would become a change in trend is if after they've created this first high here, we can drop down to the second one here. Any move back up through that high here, that would turn us into a bullish mode at that point. So we need to be looking for short trades, but this is where we would be looking for long trades. So even if it moved up here one more time here just to take out any more shorts here, I would still call that wave 4 here. Okay, that's what I'd do. I'd still call it here. So yeah, no change as such, but definitely look to you know, move to sell any weakness as such here. Yeah, okay, well that's it really, so I'll just leave it at that. Thanks for tuning in. Cheers.